What's up? What's happening? Welcome. Steeler faithful, Steeler nation, Steeler family, Steeler lovers, Steeler haters. Whatever you are, I welcome you. I appreciate you for tuning in and spending some time with me, whether you love me or hate me. The attention I appreciate. I appreciate you guys tuning in and showing some love or hate. Because if they saying anything that's being said about you is a good thing, whether it's good or bad. But what's happening, guys? I hope everybody is well. My lovely ladies in the chat, I know you're in there before I even look. I'm going to give the public service announcement like I always do. Take care of our lovely ladies of Steeler Nation. Fellas, say hello, treat them with care, and roll out that red carpet for them. Let's look over into the chat, man, and see who the early commenters are, and then we're going to jump right into it. Rajan 39 is in the building. Big Dro in the building. CT Pittman, my man, is in the building. Hello, Lanisha, the lovely Lanisha is in the building. I appreciate that. Always good to see you. Who else we got up in here, man? Kev So Fun is in the building. Alexis B, hello. Another one of our lovely ladies is still a nation. Fellas, again, make sure y'all say hello. Don't make me ask you twice. Hello, Alexis. Good to see you. Ollie Howard is in the building. My good brother Kenyon is in the building, of course. Who else is up in here? Chef Boy RC in the building. Steeler Cards in the building. The infamous Tim, my guy, is in the building. He says, shout out to the Pittsburgh retirement home. Who else is up in here, man? I saw somebody else said let me see if I can find a comment. Oh, CT, he says, I respect Tomlin Presser today. He stood tall and took the blame, took the bullets. Yeah. Odessa is in the building too, man. Our lovely ladies are out tonight. It's always good to see you as well, Odessa, and thank you. You know why. Appreciate it. James Webb is in the building as well. So, all right, let's get right into it, guys. What I didn't do, hold on, guys. Hold on. Let me go to, I didn't pull up my notes. I try to put my notes on Google Docs now, man, so I can have it with me ready on the show so I can just peek like this at them. Here they are. So y'all know the routine, man. I'm going to get into basically talking about, so a recap of sorts of the Steelers, Bills game. It's going to be very quick after the rewatch. I'm also going to just give you some quick comments, and I'll start with that. Quick comments from Tomlin Presser. And also I'll talk a little bit about some Steelers roster moves. And then also I'm just going to talk about, guys, what's next for the Steelers. And I'm going to focus on the Steeler organization. And I have a question for you all. I have a really good question for you all. And I hope all of you participate. And then after we get through that, we'll get to the calls. All right. Now, hopefully you guys are tuning in. And if you want to call in, I will grab the link. Give me a second. I will grab that link and I'm going to post it in the chat, guys. And this is Discord. I know a lot of you have asked, how do you call in? Discord is the only option that I have available as it stands. I just posted the link and I will post it again in a little while. All right, let's get to it. So what did I learn from the Tomlin Presser? Few sound bites that I usually take from the presser. We definitely know that he talked about, he came right out and said, listen, the Steelers' second half was just not good. In so many words, he said we had a terrible second half. And I think some of us forget that. And I say us, just talking about the community. I think some of you guys forget how close the game was. In the first half, if I'm not mistaken, the Steelers were up 7-3. Right, I think we ended the half 7-3. I think, right? I think that was it 7-3 or 7-6? I might be confusing it with one of the other games, but I think it was 7-3 going into the half. Steelers get the ball first, didn't do anything with it. And then the third quarter, Tomlin talked about that. The third quarter was just really unacceptable. And that's kind of where they lost the game. He also talked about some of the guys that would be categorized as out and or questionable. Derek Harmon will be out once again. And I think Derek Harmon definitely, his presence or lack thereof was felt, right? His presence was, him not being there was felt. Obviously, we're very high on this guy, high draft pick. He has been showing spots where he's probably going to be a problem. You're seeing it already. I think this guy's going to be a serious problem in the NFL. And I just look forward to his career down the road. It's unfortunate that he's had to deal with a couple injuries already this season that has sidelined him, and we haven't been able to see him for a full season. But obviously, when you talk about the run game and things of that nature, and even the pass rush in some scenarios, Derek Harmon being out against another team that's going to run the ball or try to, that is huge. He says everyone else is considered questionable, which basically means limited early participation, and the participation will be the guide. He said Patrick Queen falls into that. He also said that James Pierre is in the protocol, so probably falls into that same category. And then he also said Aaron Rodgers falls into that group as well. I know some people were asking, who the quarterback should be going into this week. I'll ask that question again right now. Let me ask that to you guys, and then I'll peek at the chat. Who do you think should be the starting quarterback going into this week, whether healthy or not, right? And I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say with that here in just a moment. And then he did clarify that as well. One of the reporters asked him later on, hey, did you say that Rodgers was limited or something like that? He basically said, no. I said that he would be limited during the week, but he didn't say that he's a guy that you could consider to be out or anything like that. So obviously Rodgers is going to have the opportunity to play. Let me see if you guys have answered that question. Who would you prefer to see as the quarterback going into this week against the Baltimore Ravens? Let's see what you guys have to say. I always love to see the disparity between you all in the chat. Big Dro says Rudolph. Kev So Fun says Aaron Rodgers. Afro Thunder says A-Rod. Ali says Rodgers unless you like picks. What else? Anybody else got any comments on that? Chef Boy says AR. Okay. Lanisha says AR. Beach Boy says Russ. Rajan says he'll take Will Howard. Okay. So clearly right now, guys, it's more in favor. Still a card says has to be Rodgers if healthy enough. Yeah, so clearly that you all, even here in this chat, are considering Aaron Rodgers. And yeah, of course, Kenyon. I know exactly what Kenyon would say in this scenario. There you have it. So, one thing I wanted to say about, let me give my opinion on that. Yes, obviously, I think you go with Aaron Rodgers. Have we seen Mason Rudolph play decent against the Ravens in the past? Yeah. He's done a couple things. Again, everybody's remembering that last season that Rudolph was with us, and he went on kind of that, 4-game streak to help the Steelers get into the playoffs, and we lost the playoffs, and he played relatively well. But if we're still talking about a talent perspective, even though I think Aaron Rodgers is not his best self, obviously, whether that's injury, whether that's age, happy birthday to Aaron Rodgers. He turned 42 years old today. Yeah, 42. I still probably would say he's going to give you the best bet to, pull a rabbit out the hat, make a throw here, make a throw there, orchestrate the offense. So you probably got to go with Aaron Rodgers, guys. But just keep that in mind. That's going to be a part of what I'm going to talk about here in just a moment. Other than that, guys, let me see. What else do I have regarding Tomlin. I think that's it. So didn't get a whole lot from the presser in terms of news. I do agree with CT Pittman. You know, whether you guys agree or not, I know some people are tired of hearing the same old thing from Mike Tomlin or coaches in general. I always are on this side of it. Coaches are not going to tell you every single thing, right? I don't think coaches really are going to say every single thing that you want them to say in a presser, right? Any coach. But I will say as well, I share the sentiment of saying, listen, I respect it, man. You know, didn't run away from it as if I expect him to do so. No, I'm just saying he stood in it, man. He stood in it. And even when they asked him, you know, how did it feel to hear fans chant "Fire Tomlin" and all of that, I didn't even catch that in the game. And he was like, hey, you know, I agree with them. You know, they asked him again in his presser today, and he's basically said, look, man, our business is winning, and winning is entertaining. And he says, and when we're not winning, we're not entertaining. He understands it, right? And he gets it. And that's one thing that you can say about Mike Tomlin as the Steelers coach. And you probably can say this about other coaches. He understands it's a business, man. You know, he never comes off to me as that over cocky or arrogant type. I'm the coach, yada, yada, yada. He understands. He understands what can come and what could happen if he's not productive and if he's not coaching up to snuff in terms of the eyes of the ownership and things of that nature. And you got to respect that from anybody. Again, you take Tomlin's name off of it. I respect any man and or woman, you know, in other sports alike, that can just stand in it and be honest and open and real about the situation, right? And that's just how I feel about people. But like I said, what else do you expect him to say? Other than that, guys, couple interesting, not so interesting, but one interesting move. I could kind of see this one coming, so to speak. I just didn't know that was going to be the reason why. But the Steelers did waive Darius Slay. According to reports, it was a mutual parting of ways, if you will, right? They said it mutually, that both of them decided to part ways. I thought it was interesting what Tomlin said in the presser when they asked him about Darius Slay being a healthy scratch. Kenyon, I know Kenyon will remember this. I texted him and Tony during the game. I said, hey, was Darius Slay a healthy scratch? Because I did not see the inactive list before the game. I just noticed when 24 went down, and I was close to giving him his name back, and now he's still number 24. When number 24 went out for a spell, I noticed that Asante Samuel was the first off the bench. So I said, whoa, okay. Slay must not be active. Come to find out, I don't think he was active. Again, they asked him that today, and he said that he literally wanted to get guys, I got to remind y'all, when y'all come in on the Discord, you got to mute yourself. I muted you now, but you got to mute yourself, guys, so I'm not hearing your audio. But I'll get back to you guys here in a moment. He said that he wanted to get a chance to see Asante Samuel in stadium. So that probably was an indication right there, even though we wouldn't have known that reason in game, but that probably was an indication that maybe they were ready to move on from Darius Slay, or at least continue to have him inactive. So it wasn't such a big surprise, in my opinion. Now, here's the one that was kind of interesting. The Steelers claimed Adam Thielen off of waivers. Here's why I'm going to say it's interesting. See if y'all follow me on this one. Not that I think Adam Thielen is such a great receiver in this stage of his career, or a bad receiver at this stage of his career. But this is what's interesting to me about the move. Marquez Valdes-Scantling is still on the practice squad, right? MVS is still a practice squad guy? Y'all correct me on that. So if you have a guy like that, and you also bring on Thielen, my question would be to the Steelers is, what plans do you have to utilize these guys? Because I'm not comparing them to as receivers. I'm just saying if you have MVS already and you bring in Thielen, I mean, both of those guys you could kind of use as the same, so to speak, right? Did you need to add another piece? Who else, who's getting replaced in terms of even in practice squad spot? I don't know. I'm just curious, what is the plan? Arthur Smith or whoever else has a hand in who plays on offense, what is the plan? Because again, I personally think that Roman Wilson is coming on. Some of you guys are not going to agree with me on that, but I tell you guys, I look at every aspect of what's happening. I don't just look at stats. I don't look at just numbers. I look at what guys are doing on the field, and I'm seeing on a consistent basis, I can't say every play, but I'm seeing opportunities where Roman Wilson is not only showcasing his speed, but his ability to separate. So I wouldn't be down on him. How do they currently feel about Calvin Austin? I don't know. I'm just curious to know what the plans are for MVS and or Adam Thielen. Like, you claimed him. So what is the plan there? Yeah, that was interesting to me. I did not see that coming. So that was very interesting to me. Now, here's my quick recap of the game, guys. Listen, man, y'all know what happened. I literally watched every single run play against the Steelers on the All-22. Shameless plug, guys. I did post the exclusive content for channel members. I posted that before I started this show. That is available now. The only way that you can see it is if you are a member of the channel. I'm showing multiple run plays against the Steelers. I'm focusing more so on the explosive plays, 10 plus yards or more, or 10 or more. And again, guys, I stand on what I said before. The question that I have to you guys, and I'm going to ask it, and then I'm going to come to the chat. I really want to know, sincerely, if you had a chance to watch the film or even watching it from a TV perspective, right? Just real time. What would you change differently from a scheme perspective? What do you think should have been done differently to stop the run? I'm asking that question objectively, right? The reason why I'm asking that is from what I watched. And again, I even said in the video, hey, I hadn't watched this yet. A lot of times I watch the film, then I rewatch it again when I cut the video, but I watched it in real time. So as I'm doing the video, you're seeing me react to what I'm seeing in real time. So only one pass through those plays. I still see a lot of, in my opinion, guys just not getting off of blocks, right? And I do have some comments about how we were aligned that I will say in a moment, but I'm curious to know what you guys, what you feel like what should have been different. The Steelers gave up 249 yards on the ground. Forgot to mention that Sunday, man. They set a record for opponents. Set a new record for allowed rushing yards in the stadium. And the only other time what was the record was O.J. Simpson's Buffalo Bills. Just a horrendous effort against the run. Let me go to the chat. Let me see if you guys, if y'all commented to that yet. Let me see. Does anybody just from from a schematic standpoint, what would you have done differently? Derek says our coordinators call plays according to what's on the sheet, not what the other team is doing. I agree with that. Estelano Romero says I wouldn't be in a nickel package. They were not in nickel package the whole time. A lot of that time they were in base. There was times that they were in nickel too, but let me tell you why they were in nickel in some of those runs. It's because in a lot of those runs that I saw, the Bills were in 11 personnel, right? So you're trying to match personnel. That's always a game, right? That's always a game within the game. You know, teams are going to try to match your personnel. That's the reason why the Steelers feel like they have the advantage out of 12, right? But a good amount of those runs, even the very first run of the game where Cook bounced it to the outside, they were in 11. So we came out in our sub package, in our nickel. Let's grab the Wonder Bread really quick. James Webb, appreciate you, brother. Round of applause. He says, I would move 95 out of the nose. I like him, but he doesn't hold up against the double, which is a staple in the 3-4. Okay, I can appreciate that. Now, and maybe if that was the case in that game, maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't, but the middle really wasn't the problem for most of those runs. But listen, I appreciate your opinion there. What else do you guys have? They shouldn't blitz the backside corner at least once or twice. They should have. Okay, I'm cool with that. What else do you guys have in regards to scheme that you would have done differently to stop that run? James Cook was getting around JPJ when bouncing to the outside. Yep. Anything else? Give me one more, guys. CT Pittman says you can't teach toughness, and we lacked that this past Sunday. Jamar Moore says the team doesn't have any heart. Okay, respect that. Y'all know how I feel about, these are opinions that we can't prove, but I appreciate your comment. I appreciate it. What else y'all have, guys? Anything else? JPJ needs to work on angles. Okay. Yeah, it was the cutback lanes, James. Absolutely. Afro Thunder says they should have gone, or he would go to the zone blitz. Okay. So the only reason why I asked that, guys, again, it's a lot of stuff that a lot of times that we put on coaching in general, whether it's the head coach or a coordinator. But again, my eyes say something differently, man. This was the one game that I can't necessarily say it was scheme related. There were a few times where we kind of lined it up more of in an over front or overload to the strong side. And even though, and I'm talking third, fourth quarter, where we were getting beat with the cutback, right? So maybe the Steelers were loading up to one side. I get it. However, somebody has to contain the back. They have to contain the backside. This is something that even we taught in my son's team, right? 11 and 12-year-olds, we taught that this year. Remember, I kept coming on here and telling you guys what type of defense we were running. We kept it simple for them. We ran a 4-4 most of the time. But then when we went up against run-heavy teams, we switched to a 5-3. And I was telling you guys, that's when we moved my son and one of the other inside guys up to the line to create a 5-3. And we would have our middle backer call slant left, slant right, based off of what he's seen or what we saw on the sideline. And that's how we contain the run. Sometimes we would say, if we were slanting left or right, you're not shooting the gap. You're just pushing this guy into the backfield. And we're going to allow the middle backer, and we rolled up some other guys, kind of had them playing like a hybrid position to just play the flat, turn everything inside, and we was killing the run. Other times when we were in that and the team started to have a little more success in different areas, we would call off the slants and we would shoot the gap. So watching the film, I was like, maybe some of those times, instead of slanting hard left or slanting hard right, because we were kind of basically going with the flow of the zone blocking scheme, maybe sometimes we should have shot the gap. Now, I don't know if it's just that simple to change. I'm just saying, maybe try to do that. But the most important thing we should have had, or somebody on the team on that backside should have taken it upon themselves to contain the backside. Again, we taught 11 and 12-year-olds that. You stay here. Because that team sometimes runs a reverse. Sometimes this team we played, they used to run a reverse with the tight end. Stay here. Do not pursue until ball carrier crosses the line of scrimmage. And that's all I'm saying. I saw a lot of times number 24 continue to be sucked inside and did not contain the outside. Like I said, I didn't see many times where I felt like the scheme itself was horrible. Now, maybe when I rewatch and I really watch every play 3-4 times, I might see something. But there were a couple of those runs, guys, that we were in position. It's just the cutbacks were just there, man. And again, there were too many times where I felt like we were just allowing ourselves to be blocked easily. Y.A. Black actually was making some plays, man. He was, and it was sometimes he was this close. Cam Hayward at times was, creating some penetration, but they were just able to cut back. And what makes it worse, James Cook himself said that was the plan. He went as far as saying that they felt like that the Steelers' corners weren't the best tacklers. So their game plan was to attack the edge. And it sure looked like that, right? First play, sure looked like he was like, I'm going to go here and boom, I'm going to just bounce outside immediately. It didn't even look like it was a bounce outside because of happenstance or because of circumstance. It looked like the plan was fake middle and bounce out. And it sure enough looked like what he said they wanted to do. So again, guys, I know some of you guys disagree with me when I say this, but there's a lot of things that I put on player execution or lack thereof. So that's why I asked the question. I was just curious to know how you guys felt about what you would have done from a schematic standpoint that you feel like would have stopped the run game. Now let me talk about this. And then I'll get to the callers. I said the Steelers fans are frustrated, and I get it. That's my title. I absolutely get it. Guys. I will not fight or disagree with any of you guys that feel like you want Tomlin to go and all of that. Guys, it has been 18 full seasons and almost 19. I get it. Right? This is his 19th season? 18th or 19th. Y'all know what I'm saying. I get it. I, too, am ready for the new era because that day has to come at some point, right? It has to come at some point. So I get it. I understand it. And let me show you what I mean by this. And this might trip y'all out. I'm going to pull up give me a second, guys. I'm going to pull up something that might trip y'all out. Let me pull it up. There's a list here, and shout out to my lovely wife, man. What my lovely wife sent this to me, and I said, "Look at this. Look at my baby doing research. She go harder in the paint than a whole lot of y'all when it comes to trying to understand things about football and stuff like that." She sent me this article. It says, "List of longest tenured current NFL head coaches," and it says Sean McDermott and Sean McVay cracked the top 5. But I'm going to start from 30 on up. Number 30 is Kellen Moore. He was hired after the 2024 season. 29 is Liam Cohen, hired after the 2024 season. 28, Brian Schottenheimer, hired after the 2024 season. 27, old Wiley veteran Pete Carroll, also hired after 2024. Aaron Glenn, hired after 2024. Ben Johnson, winning. He's winning. Got to give him credit. Hired after 2024, Chicago Bears. Mike Vrabel, winning with the New England Patriots. He was hired after 2024, and Mike Vrabel's career was, in terms of the Titans, had some decent years, had some so-so years, right? I say he's a good coach. I know some Tennessee fans are ready to get rid of him, and look what he's doing now with New England. See, I don't think it's always just the coach. The coach is always the scapegoat. You know what I mean? Just because he had a couple seasons that was subpar, had some solid ones too. I want to say back maybe in 2019. But look what he's doing in his first year with New England. So I wonder, do Titan fans now feel like, oh, well, he still sucks? Well, okay, well. Mike McDonald, second year. Dan Quinn, second year. This is current. Raheem Morris, second year. Dave Canales, second year. Jim Harbaugh, second year, second stint in the NFL. Sean Payton, second year with the Broncos. DeMeco Ryan, second year. Shane Steichen, second year. Jonathan Gannon, second year. Todd Bowles, third year. Well, 3 years. So I'm going to just read it how they have it listed. Mike McDaniel, 3 years. Kevin O'Connell, 3 years. Nick Sirianni, 4 years. Has a Super Bowl. Let's remember that. Dan Campbell, 4 years. Kevin Stefanski, 5 years. Zach Taylor, 6 years. Matt LaFleur, 6 years. Kyle Shanahan, 8 years. Sean McVay, 8 years. Has a Super Bowl. Sean McDermott, 8 years. Andy Reid, 12 years. Super Bowls. John Harbaugh, 17 years. 1 title. And Mike Tomlin, 18 years. 1 title. What's important about this list? This is what I'm going to explain. We're not used to seeing this in the NFL. You have Andy Reid that's been there 12 years, but they've won Super Bowls. You have John Harbaugh, 17 years, 1 Super Bowl, and Mike Tomlin, 18 years, 1 Super Bowl. Everyone else is less than 10 years. You have a few of them that are 8 years. Out of those guys, only Sean McVay won. And you have a few guys who are 4 years. Only 2 guys that have been there 4 years. Only 1 has a Super Bowl, who's Nick Sirianni. So my point is, the reason why I understand Steelers fans when you want to say fire Mike Tomlin, yada, 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 because we're not used to seeing a coach at an organization for 18 years. It's unusual. Now, Steelers fans should be used to that because y'all have seen how many coaches they've had since, 50 years? 3 head coaches? But that's why I wanted to point that out. I get it. And you have a slim chance of winning the Super Bowl quickly when they replace Mike Tomlin. Very slim chance. Because like I said, Sean McVay has one. He's been there 8 years. He won one early and haven't been back. They're on the road right now. And Nick Sirianni got one relatively early. Slim chance. But what is certain, none of these guys, if I got this correct, I don't think any of these guys won a Super Bowl immediately. Andy Reid, what did it take? I don't know how long it took for him to get the Super Bowl. McVay, was that his second season? I think maybe Sirianni might have been second season. I don't know. Or third. But what I'm saying is, guys, it is very likely once we move on from Mike Tomlin, whenever that day comes, we're going to have to deal with a season or 2 or probably 3 at least before they are going to satisfy what y'all want to happen. So I just thought it was important to point that out, man. It's a very interesting stat, but I think that is the reason why overwhelmingly people want Tomlin gone from Pittsburgh, because you just have not seen a coach. It's just unlikely that you see that happen. It's unlikely. And here's the worst part. 10 years. By the time the playoffs start this year, but next year, it'll be 10 seasons since they won a playoff game. And there's probably not any other place where you can go that long without winning a playoff game and still have your job. So I get it. Right? So that's why I have no beef with you guys or anything like that. For anybody who feels like they're ready to move on, I get it. But I just thought it was important for me to put that in perspective, man. Just wanted to throw that out there. Now we got some more Wonder Bread. Oh man, I see you, James. Appreciate that, Jay Webb. Appreciate it. Round of applause. He says, if we scored off the turnovers, we wouldn't have seen them run as much. Our offensive scheme or lack thereof helped feed their run game. They clearly were afraid of their offensive injuries along their line. We gave them confidence. We did, man. We allowed them to go in there and just run the ball however they felt like running it. And we could not stop it. And that is why the Pittsburgh Steelers lost the game, man. That is it. No other reason than that. That is why they lost. We could not stop them from running the ball. And like I said, I feel that it was more players not executing. Even offensively, man. I mean, there were just too many misses. A couple little misses here, misses there. Aaron Rodgers, again, missed Roman Wilson on the deep shot. First quarter, 7 minutes and 45 seconds in the game, a 3rd and 10. All deep routes, vertical routes at that. Each route, guys, I looked at this play a little while ago. Each route, with the exception of the dump off in the flat, was 15 or more yards down the field. What type of route combinations are we running in these, these situational moments, 3rd and 10? Like, I understand it's 10 yards, but you don't have to run that deep. Guys, every route was 15 or more. 2 guys ran 15 yards. Remember, that was the one when he tried to throw it to Calvin Austin, and Calvin Austin was going backwards and trying to catch it. Now, Rodgers kind of put it there, but Austin just wasn't tall enough to go up and get it. But DK was like 20-something yards down the field. What kind of route combinations are we running in these situations? There was another one I saw. First quarter, 1:52 seconds on the clock, 3rd and 4. That was the deep shot missed to Roman Wilson. But all of the other routes, nobody was open. They were very short routes. Looked like maybe a somewhat of a level concept, but we ran a lot of short in routes. Some of them were like 4 yards, some was like 5-6 yards, but had Roman Wilson, missed him. Aaron Rodgers took blame for that. But it's just, it was so much going on, man. We couldn't protect him as much as we needed to. It's just, man. Steelers just lack, they just lack firepower, man. They just do on offense. And that's just the half of it, man. It's just lack firepower on offense. Defensively, they could not stop the run. And that is why they lost. Now, last question I have for y'all, and I do see that we have some more Wonder Bread, so let me grab it. Where is it? CT Pittman, round of applause. Appreciate you, brother. He says, Sim, fan is short for fanatic. Yes. Most fans just being emotional when emotions come into play. Analytical thought goes out the window. That is a fact. And like I said, I'm not mad at you guys, man. That's why, I just entertain it, conversate with you guys. I get it, but I'm the type of person that just thinks this way You guys seem to enjoy it, so I just give you my thoughts and opinion and try to piece together where my thoughts come from so you can kind of better understand it. Whether you agree with me or not, it's just me offering to you my thought process so you can understand where I'm coming from. Now, one more question I have for you guys. I'm trying to remember it. I lost my train of thought just that fast. It was something about Tomlin. Oh, no. Here we go. Let me ask y'all this question before we bring the callers on. What would be your approach offensively if you had full control over this team? What would be your approach? I'm going to tell you mine. And where this question comes from is, I said, Tomlin is loyal to his philosophies. Some might say to a fault. What I mean by that is he has a philosophy of how he thinks he wants to play football. Being physical and all that, which of course, but they have a philosophy of just being able to ground and pound and throw when they have to and stop the run on defense. Good plan. But when it works, it works. When it doesn't, it doesn't. And there's not a lot of variation. And like I said, the evidence of that is even if you look at the coordinators, the offensive coordinators for the last 7-8 years, they kind of follow the same mode. So I'm asking you guys, how would what would be your philosophy? Now, I see some of you guys are saying, hello, shout outs to Mr. Winningham, throw over the middle of the field. Definitely understand what you mean by that, but I'm going to take it a step further, guys. This is where I'm going with it. I would like the Steelers to be more of I like to see them be more of a spread offense in today's climate. Let me explain what I'm saying. Yeah, we can run the football, but I would like us to be more of an explosive offense. Focus on getting some route technicians. And maybe a guy or two that could, beat guys over the top. But just think about that era of the Killer Bees, right? Yeah, we were a running football team, but we were a high-powered football team. Think about the greatest show on turf. Yeah, they ran the football with Marshall Faulk, but they were a high-powered offense. I want to see the Steelers go to that in today's climate. Not saying that you can't be a ground and pound type of team, but if in order to do that, it feels like the most successful teams that can do that also have a mobile quarterback, right? Like the Ravens ground and pound is different than the Steelers, how the Steelers try to do it. You know what I'm saying? A lot different. Even the Colts with Jonathan Taylor, very successful with running the ball with him, but they also, with Daniel Jones, they can throw the ball around the yard. They got decent, solid, complementary, a group of receivers. Look at the Rams. I'm sure Sean McVay would like to run the ball, but they got the type of offense that's high-powered, right? With dudes, a guy or two that's a route technician, and they like to air it out, but they're not just throwing deep balls, 50-50 balls. They're focusing on routes. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not just focused on taking a deep shot. I want the Steelers to move to that. Because in today's NFL, again, there's some anomaly teams that could just line up and run it, right? I get it. But even the Bills ain't that by nature. But even when they run it, you still have to respect Josh Allen as a runner. We got to go back to a team that is a high-powered offense. Like I said, you need a burner, you need a route technician, You need a mismatch at tight end. You know, Freiermuth could kind of be that. If we had a legit 2 receiver set. And again, like I said, I think Roman Wilson is going to be something. But also, DK Metcalf ain't getting no separation, man. That was apparent too in some of the plays I watched. Tony Romo kind of called that out as well. He does not win much off the line. But like I told y'all before, he's a different type of number 1 receiver. He's not a route technician. You know, I said this a couple weeks ago. Boy, are we missing guys like Deontay Johnson when what he could do off the line of scrimmage. But I would like to see the Steelers do that, man. And defensively, you know, I would just like us to just play tighter coverage, right? It don't have to be man. I do not want us to continue to play spot, drop, zone coverage. We have got to play more match. We have to. And you just got to be tighter, man. Stop bailing so much. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's a philosophy. And you know what? Tomlin even addressed it today. Somebody asked him, hey, well, how do you feel about, you know, they basically were saying, how do you feel about what you've been doing? And Tomlin said, well, listen, the same way that we approach the game, we also won 6 games doing that. And yeah, it's what I've been saying. Tomlin believes in his philosophies, and he believes when we execute them, they work. Okay, I don't know if we can necessarily argue that because, again, I'm always the one that's saying execution. Now, I don't always believe in the call that happens in some of these scenarios, like that 4th and 2 call by Arthur Smith running straight up the middle. What was that? When we ain't been running the ball all game. Situational play calling. No, I'm not just pissed off because it didn't work. I'm pissed off at the call selection, the play selection. This is what I'm saying, man. That would be my spin on it. Would like to see them get more to being more explosive. You know, with like multiple. I want to be a threat again from 11 personnel, like the Bills did. Like I tell you guys, James Cook a lot of times ran out of 11. That's what I would want if I had it my way. And like I said, man, you know, I'm going to go ahead and grab the callers now. Like I said, guys, I have no shame in saying what I say about Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin is a good head coach, man. I absolutely do. But I also think, you know, maybe it's time. You know, maybe it has run its course in Pittsburgh. That's fine. Again, 17 years by Harbaugh and 18 years by Mike Tomlin. It's a long time. Maybe it has just run its course. And I'm ready to see what the next chapter brings. So, hey, I am a fan of the guy. I think he's a good coach. I've always thought that. He has warts just like every other head coach. But, you know, I would be curious to see how things go when he goes, because, you know, that chapter has to change at some point. But again, I don't foresee that happening until the end of the 2027 season, which that's when his contract expires. But all right, man, let me grab some callers here. We got 5 in the queue. We're going to definitely take Mr. Winningham first, so let me unmute. There we go. Mr. Winningham, what you got for us tonight?
Well, you know, my problem with Mike Tomlin / Doc Rivers is it's lack of adjustments, lack of scheme. I mean, when we go out there now, I just sit there and I watch the game on TV. I almost didn't have any emotion to it because we didn't make any adjustments to basically 2 plays. We got beat. TJ Watt, and I'm on TJ Watt all year, and I'm going to stay on him. We got beat by 2 backup offensive tackles. That's embarrassing. You are an all-pro, future Hall of Famer. We are getting beat with 2 plays primarily with backup offensive tackles. I just didn't understand that Sunday. Offensively, I don't know what Arthur Smith's doing. We need a guy to come in next year who can blow the top off the defense. We need the Mike Wallaces back in Pittsburgh. And please take Jonnu Smith off the field. That was a touchdown pass. Jonnu Smith went one way, Aaron Rodgers threw the other way. We missed out on that Sunday, but you know, my thing is, yes, we have to go over the middle of the field. We have to use Pat Fryermuth and Donnell Washington over the middle. But like I say, lack of adjustments, lack of scheme. It's time for him to go. I mean, I'm willing to sit there and watch us rebuild for the next 3 years than sit here and just watch, just sit here and watch Manila football on Sunday. But that's just my opinion. I hope everybody have a great week ahead. Thank you. Happy December.
Man, Mr. Winterham, thank you like always. And I'm going to finish up with exactly what you said at the end. I'm willing to do it too. I've been saying that for some years now. But I know most of the people that we talking to in this chat, they not. I know they not. 2 seasons. Let us have 2 seasons where we're under 500 or just blatantly losing. Watch how they complain. Because it's likely that it happens. Maybe not. Maybe you get a coach and catch lightning in a bottle. Maybe you have a what's the guy's name? What's the dude's name? Ben Johnson moment with the Bears. You know, that happens every now and then. But I'm telling you, if it goes the other way, if it goes the way of a Dan Campbell, boy, these fans gonna lose their mind. And I can't wait to see it. But yeah, I agree with you, man. A lot of what you said there. The only question I have, and again, this is not me questioning anybody. I'm legit asking the question. I don't know what could have been done differently scheme-wise to stop those 2 plays. Because from what I saw, all we have to do is stay home on the backside. They weren't killing us. You know, I mean, there was a couple plays where they were able to pop loose up the middle, a few, not a lot, but them just getting to the edge. And I would even say this about the backup tackles. They didn't kill us in the pass game. We actually were getting a little pressure on Josh Allen. But here's the staggering stat. The Bills ran the ball 51 times. Now that includes some Josh Allen carries, but 51 run attempts. Wow. That's all I'm going to say. Wow. All right, man, let's go. I don't know who is next. I think I saw Infamous Tim and Dirty coming around the same time. So I'm going to grab the 2 of them. I'm going to grab Tim first, and then after that, Dirty, and then after that, O, and then after that, Cure Dog 318. So first up, Tim, what you got for us, brother?
I hope you can hear me. So my big thing, if you are ready to move on from Mike Tomlin, at this point in time, I would say I can understand it more. I used to be, well, I guess you could consider me a Mike Tomlin defender because I think fans give him far too much blame. Casual fans just see my team loses, therefore it has to be the head coach's fault. But now that I have seen him have Matt Canada, the interim head coach that he had after Matt Canada got fired, and then now with Arthur Smith, I'm seeing a pattern, and the pattern is that not only are we, not targeting the middle of the field, we are actively avoiding the middle of the field. And you look at, where our passes are being targeted, and it is, honestly, it's impressive how bad we aren't targeting the middle of the field. I'm looking at the passing concept, because I'm big into, I don't care what the result is. I care more so about what were you trying to do. Like, I'm gonna watch a play and I'm gonna say, what was the end goal when you called this route concept? What were you hoping for? And a lot of what I'm seeing is you're hoping your 6'4", 230 receiver is gonna catch a bubble screen and take it 80 yards. Or you're hoping your 5'9", a $175 wide receiver in Calvin Austin will take this 2-yard curl route 90 yards. We're calling nothing but hitches, bubble screens, out routes, and shallow crosses. Looking at this offense, if we had a prime Antonio Brown or a prime Justin Jefferson, they wouldn't go for more than 600 yards and 2 touchdowns. This offense does not want to be explosive. And it's at this point, it's a Mike Tomlin thing, because we've had 3 different offensive coordinators with 3 totally different mindsets. And it's playing to his brand of football, which is run the ball, stop the run. He doesn't want to go out there, be explosive, and go capture those wins. He wants to play ball control, play field position, and grind it out. Now, I understand we haven't had a all-time quarterback like a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, but still, even if Aaron Rodgers was in his prime in this offense, he would struggle. We're not giving our receivers a chance. We have 3 number 1 tight ends on this roster, and we're not doing anything with them. Tight ends win over the middle. We played the Bears. They had their practice squad linebackers out there, and we have 3 number 1 tight ends. Go test those guys in space. Post routes, comeback routes, corner routes, in-breaking routes. Test those guys, and we're just not doing it. So at this point in time, that is a Mike Tomlin thing, and it's a culture thing. That's all I had for you, Sim. Thank you.
Oh, man, Tim, great call, man, and I definitely want to reply to that. See, guys, this is what I like. I like when you guys have your opinion and you can say exactly why you feel that way and piece some things together that I think we all can see, right? Regardless of whether we agree or disagree, this is what I like when we engage. I just don't like the shallow, oh, it sucks, oh, he's great, no, I like to hear some dialogue. Let me tell you where I agree with Tim 100%. You hear me talk about the coordinators a lot, and I still will put a lot of things on the coordinators, but we cannot hide, what we cannot disagree on, Mike Tomlin hires these coordinators. Now, I think that Fichtner in Canada were pretty similar, right? And also now I think, like you said, Arthur Smith fits the brand of football. Remember, I kept saying that, guys. Tomlin's philosophies and his loyalty to what he believes in and what he thinks will be successful is his gift and his curse. That's it. He believes in that. Now, I don't believe he restricts Aaron Rodgers, right? I think because Aaron Rodgers has taken some shots down the seam, down the middle of the field. We've seen him do it this season. You ain't gonna tell Aaron Rodgers he can't do that. However, what Tim is hitting on is it's the scheme of the offense and the route combinations doesn't always lend to that. You have to point at Mike Tomlin because he's the one who hires these guys. So now you're kind of seeing, guys, the way some of us see it differently. Like he said, casual fans, they just say, oh, this dude sucks, but they don't really know. But Tim is giving you some meat on the bone, right? Saying this is what I don't like. I can agree with that in many ways. Yes, that is Tomlin's philosophy. And here's the thing that trips me up though, guys. This is the same guy that coached the Killer Bees with Todd Haley when we were leading the league in offense and we were beyond high powered. So it does make me wonder, does he clutch his pearls a little more when he doesn't have the quarterback? Because y'all remember that infamous clip? I know y'all have seen it. When Ben Roethlisberger said, you want the ball first? They got the best defense. He said, I got you. Is it because he's more, quote fingers, living in his fears because of the quarterback? Now, again, not saying that about Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers is over the hill, guys. So that's what I wonder, because there was a time when you didn't mind putting up multiple points. We was not a run-first team, right? When Le'Veon Bell was, we would give him the ball, but we were not this brute team that's just going to run down your throat right out of 13 personnel. We would spread you out and let Le'Veon Bell work. And then every now and then we would go heavy. But we would also feature Antonio Brown heavily. Juju Smith-Schuster heavily. Martavis Bryant. It's just, I don't know, man. And so again, that's where I agree with Tim. It's like, that's why y'all heard me say it a couple years ago, man. Tomlin is going to have the philosophy he has. And until we have the players that can execute his philosophy, this is what we're going to see. It's just the hard truth, man. Appreciate that, Tim. Let's move on to the next caller. We have Dirty. Dirty, what you got for us?
What's up, Sim? First time calling.
Hey, what's going on, man? Appreciate it.
I was thinking that like the problem with the Steelers is like the lack of innovation with the coordinators. Like we have Derek Harmon and TJ Watt, and Derek Harmon was the best in college at doing stunts. We don't do any stunts with both of them at the same time. And then you look at the offense, there's no true vertical threat. And it's just the same thing we seen last year. And then like, to me, it's confusing because it's like we're super slow to fire coordinators. When realistically, it's like they're showing you the same thing over and over again. You have to move on. And then like it kind of goes with the philosophy we've been going with that quarterback. Like we're bringing in old vets. Can we get some new young quarterbacks? Like we have to play against Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, just to even get a chance to get a playoff win. I don't think it's gonna work that way, but it might. Who knows? That's all I got, son.
Man, Dirty, first and foremost, man, thank you for calling. Definitely appreciate that. I love hearing from first-time guys and gals, man, that I love it. I appreciate you, man. And also, you said something interesting there, and you said we don't have a vertical threat. And I love that he said that because let me ask y'all, is DK Metcalf, has he been a vertical threat? No. DK Metcalf has been more of a let's take a 50-50 ball chance type of guy, but he hasn't really made many of those plays. The longest play that he has and touchdown he has on the season is a quick slant against Minnesota. And whoa, it was good to see him rumbling, bumbling, and stumbling all the way to the end zone. But that goes back to what Tim said. Are we even designing plays to have him a threat? Like, are we throwing post routes to him? Now, one of those games earlier in the season, Aaron Rodgers missed him on one. Remember that? What game was that, man? When he had him in the end zone and he just missed him. But that's a good choice of words there. Also, absolutely right. We don't run a ton of stunts. I've seen us do some stunts in some games where we run we've run some with Herbig and guys like that off the edge. But, I don't really recall many times, like you're right, that where we see like these type of games ran in the middle, and I think Derek Harmon is going to be a beast. But it just goes back, man, to what you guys are saying and what I've said as well. It's just, it's the Tomlin philosophy, man. And again, I'm going to keep saying this because this is my opinion. Tomlin is a good coach, man. It's just that his philosophy may have run its course. And again, feel free to disagree with me, but I think the man is a good football coach. He's a great leader. He knows football, but he trusts his philosophy to a fault. And that's just what we're seeing. And to watch that for the last 10 years without a playoff game is what has the Steeler fan base where we are right now. So, Yeah, man, that's it. All right, let's grab the last two callers, man. We have what's up? What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Sim? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, first thing that I want to mention is that I want to answer the question that you asked earlier about if we have full control over the offense, what we should do. I want to go back to being a pass-first offense. I'm sick of this running the ball crap. It doesn't work anymore. It's year 2025. What are we trying to run the ball for? It ain't 1990 anymore. Air it out. This is the most pass-friendly league that we've ever had. Why are we throwing the ball? Oh, wait, I know why. Because of Mike Tomlin. Okay? And as far as talent on our team, you know what? I don't know what we have. Because no matter what we have, it's the same stupid result. Tom Brady and the Patriots didn't have no damn talent at wide receiver. They were schemed open. That's coaching. That's coaching. I am sick of seeing talent go through Pittsburgh and be wasted. We haven't won a playoff game since I was in high school. And I'm pushing 30 now. It's ridiculous. It's dumb. Mike Tomlin has no business being a head coach. Maybe he could be like a motivational speaker at most, but he's no football coach. He's an idiot. And the Rooneys are dumb too. We're letting them stay for so damn long. You're 2025 and you're not throwing the football? Are you kidding me? Before Aaron Rodgers, we were last place in like overall touchdown passes for the last like 3 years. It's ridiculous. George Pickens, look at George Pickens now. He's in Dallas putting up a damn clinic. As soon as he leaves Pittsburgh, we used to be the team that like generates wide receivers, but now we are where they go to die. The Pittsburgh Steelers. We have fallen from grace, man. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit emotional. I'm so disappointed in this team. I'm so disappointed in this franchise. I thought that we were so much better than this, but apparently we not. We have fallen from grace, Sim. I don't even clown Cowboys fans anymore. You know why? Because we're heading there. Damn near close to heading there. We're a joke. That logo doesn't mean anything anymore. All right, Sim, thanks for taking my call. Appreciate you, man. Always.
Hey, man, no problem. I appreciate the call. I even will say this. I appreciate the emotion. But I will say this. Because I feel like it's my duty to at least, give this thought. You are correct. You're being a little overly emotional. Let me just explain why. I get the sentiment. But some of the things that, to recall everything that you mentioned, there's a counter to everything, right? George Pickens, putting on a clinic, but Dak Prescott is his quarterback. Look at the quarterbacks that George Pickens had in Pittsburgh. Steelers don't throw the football. Look at the quarterbacks that we've had since we threw the football. Since Ben Roethlisberger. Tomlin is an idiot. And Tomlin doesn't want to throw the football. But look what I just said about the Killer B era. I mean, we might have thrown the football more than anybody. Y'all remember when Ben Roethlisberger threw for 12 touchdowns in 2 games? It's just, again, what I can't answer, I don't know if we'll ever get the answer, is it Mike Tomlin being more conservative post Ben Roethlisberger? Or is he just choosing not to? I seem to lean more towards that. I seem to lean more on he doesn't necessarily trust the quarterbacks the way he did Ben Roethlisberger. The Mitch Trubiskys, the Mason Rudolphs, the Duck Hodges, the Kenny Pickett's. I think it's more of that. Yes, we're tired of seeing it. I fully agree. But I think it's more of that. Also, the last one, you said, why are we running the football in 2025? Well, I got to say this because it's right there. I mean, you put it right at the rim. The Buffalo Bills just ran the football 51 times, and they set a record in Acrisure Stadium in 2025. So it's not the answer is to not run the football. Jonathan Taylor has put up enormous games this year. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, enormous games this year. Derrick Henry, still at his age, enormous rushing games. It is not about running the football. The problem is how the Steelers run the football. That's the problem. Like I said, if I had it my way, and I think Jaylen Warren is a capable back to do this, just run out of 11, bro. Let's run out of 11 personnel, spread them out and go to work. We used to do that a lot with Le'Veon. And sometimes we would, when Rosie Nixon was there, sometimes we'd run a fullback, but a lot of times we just go single back, 11 personnel, shotgun, and we go to work that way. So, yeah, but I get it. I get what you're saying, man. Like, that happens to us all when we overly emotional. We just start saying all this stuff. But like I said, man, the whole George Pickens thing, it's not a mystery. George Pickens, and y'all know I was the biggest George Pickens fan. He's having the success he's having because he has a quarterback. and that's what it is. And he has a team that's willing to air the ball out. But all right, man, last one of the night. Daron, I won't be able to catch you tonight, man. I got to get out of here. The last one is Cure Dog 318. What you got for us?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Sam, for taking my call. Daron, I think you got to go on mute. I can hear his background. But anyways, so as far as looking at the game and saying, well, what could they have done, schematically different? Well, I think, they were making adjustments. They were changing. I watched the tape. They were changing looks as far as the formations, but Buffalo was also changing personnel, but in the same formations. And you remember last year when we was watching the Ravens, and they kept running the read option, and we kept asking, why is TJ Watt why does he keep crashing down on Lamar Jackson every time, and he keeps it and he runs, because that's what he's told to do. That's how they coaching it. That's how they go. That's how they coaching to do it. So that's the game plan. TJ was talking after the game saying, "I've never seen a team run the same play so many times and have success." He wasn't saying that because he was like, that was a reflection of like coaching. Of course, he can't say that, but I mean, you can just read out between the lines. As far as like going through a couple rough seasons, you said there's few fans that would not be able to take going through, a 9-8 season versus a slightly. I don't think it's going to be a big difference if we go 9-8. If we was to go 8-9, just 3 games under 500. I mean, we already eight years in a row now ain't got no playoff win. We got each team in the division, in our division, the Browns. They have beaten us in a playoff game. They've won a playoff game. The Ravens have won a playoff game against us. The Bengals have been to a Super Bowl. The Steelers have been outscored 73-0 in the first quarter of the last 6 playoff games. 73-0. We got 63 straight games where we haven't scored more than 7 points in the first quarter. That's crazy. Like, how do you not accidentally score 10 points in the first quarter? I mean, when TJ Watt stripped that guy the other day, I looked at the scoreboard. I was like, wait, is that the first quarter? No, it was at the beginning of the second quarter. The streak goes on. George Pickens has more receiving yards than our whole receiving core combined. Mike Tomlin's philosophy is what it is. And that's just, I mean, it's not going to change. I know you said you want to be like and I agree. I want to be one of those teams, spread them in. But Mike Tomlin likes small ball. He likes to play the clock game, run the ball, and he wants to stop the run and rely on splash. The problem is, it's just not reliable. You can't rely on splash. We 6-6, man. I understand the frustration. I was a Mike Tomlin super fan. I'm always defending Mike Tomlin. but I'm not so stubborn that I can't have my mind changed with new information. And I think there's enough new information and recent information that I just think it's time, man. But I ain't gonna take much of your time, Sam. I appreciate you taking my call, man.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you calling in. I don't think you've called before, man, so I definitely appreciate that. I always love hearing new perspectives. And like I said, guys, a lot of what you guys are saying, it's you can't debate it, right? And that's one thing I will never do. You know, you might get people, you know, that do podcasts and all that, and they always think they right. There's certain things that I can't debate. I cannot debate somebody's feelings. And I never would try to do that. But I think the more we talk, we're all starting to at least say the same thing, even if we say it different ways. Mike Tomlin's philosophies and what he believes he can win with is not working anymore. And again, that's why y'all remember me saying this a few years ago. We're not going to see much of a change until A, contract comes up and they don't extend it. B, we get players that are able to execute his game plan. That's just it. Because I know a lot of times, and you mentioned it as well, guys will say, oh, you know, the scheme. Again, guys, watching that Bills film against those runs, I don't know how much more they could have done from a scheme perspective to stop what the Bills were doing. Other than winning. Like I saw Smitty in the chat say, yeah, but you know, you got to defeat your blocks. Yeah. We were just getting blocked too well, and we were not containing the backside. They tried a lot of different things, man. They tried the 3 inside linebacker look. They tried the base defense. They tried sub-package defense when the Bills were in 11 personnel. They tried different alignments. It just did not work. You know, yes, Walter Worthy. You cannot scheme getting manhandled. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying anybody else's is wrong. I'm just saying, man, if you guys have the ability to watch the film, you'll have a greater appreciation of like, wow, yeah. And again, I'm also not sitting here saying there isn't something else you could do scheme-wise. Listen, I know football, but I don't think I know more than the NFL coaches or have been exposed to more or exposed to why they're doing certain things. So maybe there is something else. That's why I legit ask questions like, what do you guys think? You know, maybe you see something that I don't. But again, from my eyes, we were just getting beat up. They were just getting handled in the run game. And we were not containing the backside. And a lot of times that was number 24. I mean, listen, guys, a coach don't even have to tell me after 3 times I see, oh, this dude keep cutting back. All right, I'm not gonna go so far inside. I'm gonna sit here and play the cutback. I'm the last guy over here. I don't have to rush over there. I got 10 other guys, or at least 9 other guys over there pursuing the zone blocking. I'm going to stay right here and be ready for that cutback the 4th time. Stuff like that. But yeah, I agree with you guys. Listen, man, and again, the reason why it stinks a little bit is because of the length of time, man. 18 years, right? That's what it is. So nobody is wrong for saying they want to see a new. They've grown old of Mike Tomlin. Nobody's wrong in saying that. But there you have it. Outside of that, guys, I have nothing else. I got to get out of here, man. Felt good spending time with you guys. Yes, Joe Mannix, I agree with that. Listen, and that is the truth. The Steelers have not gone through a rebuild. They haven't. They just try to reload with veterans and such like that. Guys, every other team, think about it. Every other team who are now perennial playoff teams or teams that you look, oh, they might be this, they might be that. They all have something in common, with the exception of the Rams. You know, Stafford is the old wily veteran that's still getting it done. Other than that, these teams have gone through rebuild. And they have a franchise quarterback. And like I said, it is my belief, I have no proof, but it is my belief that Mike Tomlin has been more conservative with quarterbacks who have been at the helm for the Steelers post Ben Roethlisberger. That is just my belief. Because again, I cannot agree or I cannot go along with anyone saying, oh, he's scared of points, he's scared of it. No, don't forget the Killer B offensive era. I saw somebody here in the chat say that was all on Ben. It had nothing to do with Tomlin. Tomlin hired the coordinator. Like, come on, man. Like, we got to stop acting like that. If there's no way, shape, or form you're telling me that a head coach in the NFL don't want points. That's just crazy talk. What he might want is he'd rather be conservative, protect the ball and all of that because he doesn't trust these quarterbacks. He's given Aaron Rodgers a little more autonomy, but he hasn't trusted these guys who've suited up since Ben Roethlisberger. That, in my opinion, that seems to be factual. I don't know for sure, but had he been conservative with Ben during that time, I might be inclined to believe what you're saying. But we've seen a Tomlin-led team that was producing 30-plus points a game. He had no problem with that. Our defenses just were not good that year. Those years, the defenses just suffered badly. But last thing I got here, guys. CT Pittman. Appreciate the Wonder Bread. Facts. He says, Sim, we learned contain in middle and high school. Guys, my 11 and 12-year-old team from this season, which we won the championship, we taught them outside contain. Part of the reason why we won it. So I ain't trying to hear, in no way y'all gonna convince me that the coaches are telling them to not do that. That's why I say it's player execution also. You can put blame on coaches, sure, but these players got to execute. Jay Webb, another one. Appreciate you. Yeah. There you go. We still run heavy on first down too much. Yes. Yes, man. That's why I said if I have it my way, I wish the Steelers would get back to being explosive. They just, yeah. That's all I got, man. That's all I got. That's all I got. But I love y'all always, man. I love y'all always. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Hey, man, guys, if you like what you saw here tonight, if you like the content, you like the channel, do me a favor. Hit that like button. That's all I ask. Hit the like button and subscribe. Also, here's my PSA for you lovely people. Make sure you guys stay safe, stay healthy. God bless. Good night. Like always, I thank each and every one of you all for tuning in. And I shall catch you guys in the next one.